Hello and welcome back. In the last episode we looked at getting all of our pieces together and finalising the story. And in this episode we're going to start writing our treatment. Let's get started. We're in the writing studio, we're ready to start making our treatment, which is where we write the story over a few pages so we can see it all laid out. Rather than being notes, we're going to have it as an actual story. So if I go down to my 8-point arc, I'm going to copy it and paste it back at the top of the document because I'm going to use this as a template in order to do some writing. So we have up to there. We go all the way back to the beginning. And we're going to write it out using this as the template. Now, what I'm going to say is, as best as possible, and you'll watch me do this, I'll try and write only what we can see. This is going to make things much easier when we come to the next step, which is to create a scene list. So, the prologue is probably largely written. Robert is walking the night, finds his wife missing from the bed. He hears the front door slam closed and looks through the window to see his wife running into the fields. He rushes down behind her as she leaves the house. He sees her running towards a spectral train. I'm going to change this slightly, I think, because I know we've got this young boy on fire, or a flaming boy. I think maybe he should turn up and hold their hand, and he actually comes and takes them. He sees his wife, I say, walking into the fields. He rushes down behind her and leaves the house. He sees she is being led towards a spectral train by a ghostly little boy. As he tries to chase her, he hears growls and barks within the crops and is prevented from chasing her by a pack of hellish dogs. And we know what these look like. That appear as silhouettes with a misty green vapour coming from them. So this is a wonderful opening. Now, always with openings, you want to get people hooked in from the first sentence, and this will be a really nice way to do it. He watches as she gets aboard the train and vanishes. I will leave on, so you see here how it says stasis, I will leave those tags on. It makes it just a little bit easier. Imagine it's like there are 8 chapters to the book. We will work with these. Okay, so 2 years later, Robert sits in his kitchen looking miserable. Dirty dishes are piled in the sink. Or what we want to do is show that he's miserable. We don't want to say he's miserable. We need to really see that. His farm manager comes to talk with him about business, but he doesn't really care. So they're going to have a conversation. We could do that. I'll put let's just put later that evening. The manager returns and they have a heart-to-heart over a drink. And they converse, they have a conversation. And it is suggested that he tries a medium to see if they can contact her. They can contact his wife, Rebecca. And then he visits London to meet a medium. And he sits in on a seance. He realises it's fake. After the event, quietly exposes the medium and states he's not looking to cause trouble. He's just looking for his wife. He explains the ghost train. And the medium tells him to speak with Cushing, a supernatural investigator who knows of such things. And now we can see Robert speaks with Cushing, who has chronicled people getting taken by the ghost train. So he's now going to learn something. Now, for the trigger, we're going to go to a new scene entirely, and we're going to see... Oh, it already says we will see a woman fall from the train, and I think this is Clara. So let's have her taken to the train, and let's do something similar because we know her sister Julia is going to be involved. We see a woman taken to the train, and here's what we'll put in. We see a woman, Clara, taken to the train. Her sister Julia, who she lives with, watches her go and is too frightened to intervene. So let's say that the ghostly little boy comes for both of them. Oh, that would be good! The ghost boy comes for both of them, but takes Clara. So Clara is then taken to the train. Her sister Julia watches go, is too frightened to intervene. But something has to happen. I'm not quite sure what. But Clara falls from the train. Now, because this is a simple action scene and it doesn't really impact on the rest of the story, I'm okay leaving that one blank. We'll figure out a way to find some action that would show that, but we don't need to nail it down now. It's okay to leave that one. It's more important that we just get the whole story out. That's the important thing. Get it out. It's kind of one way to think about this, I suppose, is if you think about a guy telling a story in a pub. So some man, he says, you know what, I've just seen the greatest film ever. Let me tell you, started out with this woman going into a field and there was a ghost train. There was this like little boy holding her hand and her husband was running and these like dogs came out. He couldn't get to her and she got taken onto this train. That was like the most amazing film I've ever seen. That's kind of what you're doing with the treatment. You want to be just telling the story in what you see with a bit of enthusiasm so we can get the whole thing in there. But what I'm going to do, because obviously it might be a little bit boring to watch me do the whole thing, so I'm just going to work on this alone, and in the next episode I'll come back and we'll read the whole thing so you can see what the completed treatment looks like. We'll see you real soon.